Good luck. Caller 10, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Clevelanders are damn proud of their city. Cleveland! But come on, you were born here. He moved here.
This is a man that has endured real torture in a foreign setting.
So who's the real hero?
I would hope people would listen to our heroes.
Alan Cox.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Comedian Sam Talent is going to join us a little bit later on. Cool to meet him. He's doing tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday around the corner at Hilarities.
Really funny dude.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I've never met him, but I'm a fan.
Got a new special out on YouTube that's very good. Very, very
best.
funny.
Sam
The
has
Toad's
been-
Morale.
He's been working the road forever, and people are finally starting to take notice, and it's like one of those you love to see it, you know? Hardworking
Sure.
dude, super funny. He wrote a book called Running the Light that's incredible. It's a really good book.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
The audio version's interesting because he had different comedians read each chapter. So you're getting a different comic reading each chapter.
Oh, yeah, he didn't do it
Yeah.
himself.
No. It's fun, though. It's a great book.
Well, we will chat him up shortly about all that stuff. But you can get tickets at pickwickandfrolic.com, I believe. Listen, we see stories all the time about teachers who are doing things with their students that they shouldn't be doing. And after a while, you kind of get numb to those kinds of stories, you know. Another, usually hot, teacher. I don't know when that took a turn, because back in the day, you're like, hey. But then all of a sudden, they got younger and hotter, and I don't know what happened. I don't know where that seismic generational shift began over the past decade or so. But, you know, people become numb to it. And so it makes sense that if you're going to do it, you're invariably going to get caught. You got to make yourself stand out if you're a teacher that's banging her students. You got to have a hook. Ellen Phillips is a teacher in Kentucky who's in trouble. She confessed to the sexual assault of multiple teenage boys, and she made merch. This merch thing, boy, I mean, it's gotten out of hand. Everybody has merch now, even teachers banging their students. Bill's got merch. Mary's got merch.
Everybody got merch.
Everybody. She made I Love Hot Moms swag for the victims. She's a 39-year-old mother of two. Was a teacher in Kentucky. And, you know, she's not bad looking. I mean, she looks a little bit more like a mom than some of these other girls do. These stories come fast and furious, too. There was one last week about a woman who they had to get on the run because as soon she was like from Texas, but teaching in Missouri, I think, but she was like 24. These girls that get right out of college, it was like her first year teaching. I don't know if these jobs are easy to get now, and so you take them for granted. I don't know if it's the confluence of what am I doing with my life? Maybe these girls got married young. I don't know. But they're always married. They usually have kids. And that to me was always the creepy thing. Is like if you're a mom and you're banging other moms' kids. This girl in Kentucky said that she had had multiple sexual relationships with teen boys in her classes, boys between the ages of 14 and 16.
Ugh.
So full-on minors.
I would say, so that's literally child molestation, because it's not even 18, like you're a senior, and he has an old soul, like he's going to college in the fall, and I wanted to send him off right. No, literally.
Is that raping respectfully?
I didn't say that. But at least you're legal you're legal within the law. Like, I know there's the law here in Ohio where if you're a person of, in a position of power, doesn't matter what the age is, you're going to jail. At least be 18. But no, she's banging minors.
Gee, how'd you make that connection, Einstein?
Whatever. I'm allowed to give my commentary.
I mean, every one of these women, by the way, operates in the shadow of Mary Kay Letourneau, right? The dude that she was molesting was 12, and he knocked her up, right? And he waited for her.
Aren't they
And
still
she was
together?
No, she's
No,
dead.
they got-
She's dead?
They
Yeah,
got
she died a couple years ago.
They got divorced, and then she died.
Right.
Died of a broken heart.
It may be, because he finally moved on, and yeah.
He was like, I don't want you no more, bitch. Like, imagine you go through all that. All
I
that
mean,
for nothing.
But they had a kid while she was in prison. And they were married for 14 years.
Don't you stick it out of spite?
What do you mean?
Like, after you go through
Boy,
all
spite
that.
is really a big blanket for you,
It's
isn't
not,
it?
but like.
Spite is a huge, comfy blanket
huge
for you.
motivator.
You can really wrap it around just about any subject.
She went to prison for you. Like, she
She didn't go to prison for
Well,
him. She went to prison because she banged a 12-year-old.
Well, I'm saying he waited for her.
Yes.
And they had a kid together, and they were together all these years, defying all odds, and everyone was like, oh, this is disgusting, and even though it may be disgusting, but they still were together, and it was, a flaw in their plan.
And she couldn't.
They're rooting for them
and
to fail.
she couldn't stay away from him. That whole case was so wild. This is a woman with children of her own, a good-looking woman with a handsome husband, right? Steve Letourneau was her husband, and she just falls madly in love with a 6th grader, and the whole thing blows up, and they go, we're going to put you in prison for 8 years. Gets a plea deal, but you can't have contact with this kid for life. She goes, okay. Does 3 months in jail. They catch her in a car with the kid.
3 months.
They put her
The
back.
heart wants what the heart
They
wants.
put her.
A child molester.
They put her back in, and she has a kid in prison. And she's in there for 6 years, 6, 7 years. And he hangs out, and they get married. And they're married for a long time. She was married to him.
man.
She was married to him longer than she was married to her husband before. So it's like that whole thing is wild. So anyway, all of these subsequent teachers really, Mary Kay Letourneau is the patron saint, whether they know it or not. Some of these girls are real young. They probably have no idea who Mary Kay Letourneau is. But back in the day, that was a big, I mean, the kid was really young. I don't remember those kinds of things getting that kind of coverage. It was a huge, because she's like, what do they always say? The all-American girl, which AKA blonde, white.
Yep.
But Mary Kay Letourneau. So this woman in Kentucky was given the boys swag. She made T-shirts and bumper stickers that said, I heart hot moms. Now, if you're messing around with dudes between 14 and 16, none of them might have their driver's licenses yet. Where are the stickers going? Hey, give this to your dad.
On their notebook. On their locker.
I heart hot moms.
Their skateboard.
One of the parents put that little nugget of information out there. It was a grooming stamp of evil, the guy says. It was a joke. She made one for her own son, but giving it to the other boys was awful. For her, gives her son an I heart hot moms. So it's always so strange. You have to wonder, like, what's going on with these women? Like, they're so desperate for attention that they're not getting from their husband. Why? I don't know. Don't know. But these stories come fast and furious. Always white ladies. It's just very, very strange. But again, if you're going to do this, you're going to get caught because nobody's going to keep their mouth shut. And you gotta set yourself apart. And she made merch.
Every time we talk about this, don't people text you and they're like, I got away with it and I never said anything? Or like, you always find out. I mean,
We hear from those people all the time when
you
we
don't ever know
broach
if
the
it's true.
subject. They're like, I banged my math teacher for 7 years. Nobody caught.
don't
So it does
believe
happen.
these
It's not like
people.
everybody gets caught, but the people who tell us those stories, it was a long time ago.
right.
When it wasn't Instagram and all that stuff. One of the boys that she was having sex with was the former boyfriend of her daughter.
bro.
So imagine the
Man.
daughter brings the boyfriend, hey, this is my boyfriend Timmy or whatever, and the mom goes, hey, Timmy.
I don't know.
Timmy.
I could never look at my mom the same way again. Like, I don't even know if I would want a relationship with her just because I'm like, what type
If your mom did something with one of your boyfriends, but he wouldn't be interested in her.
I'm saying if I was a female, if I was,
Oh.
I'm putting myself
Gee,
in this
how'd you
situation.
make that connection, Einstein?
Okay.
What if she made one of your ex-boyfriends straight?
Right. What if your mom
Or
was
he was like, bye, and he was like, I had the,
No.
Would it be more
I
terrifying
had the
to
calf,
find?
now I want the cow.
Would it be more terrifying and disheartening to find out that your mom was throwing around that good and flipped one of your friends straight? Wouldn't that be wild?
Yeah, I would rather not know that.
Right.
I think if she cared enough about me, she would never allow me to.
What
find
does
out.
it have to do with you?
What if they got married? Would you call him dad?
No.
He might be cooler than your real dad.
What if there's a fire?
You'd see him more.
What if there's a fire?
Yeah. Like you were all in the house and like you were scared. And you're like, help me, Dad.
No, I'd burn alive. I would literally burn alive.
No, you wouldn't burn alive. You run out and lock him in the house.
I'm just saying if I needed him to help me get out, no. I'd burn alive over my dead body. And I curse you from the heavens or hell. If they're real.
This girl was arrested after two of the boys came forward saying that she had raped them 3 separate times when they were 16 the year prior, and she's going to be sentenced in April. But these, I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, their brains are so in a froth. Because these kinds of stories, Mary Kay Letourneau aside, and I think part of the reason that was such a big deal is A, you didn't hear about stuff like that often. B, when you did, it was male teachers who were, I mean, I don't know if we all had a teacher in high school who everybody knew.
Stay away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one.
We had one too, but he ended up waiting for her and they got married. A guy who was like, admittedly, this was the best looking teacher we had had in a while. He was like young and a good-looking dude, and he zeroed in on this one girl. I think she was a junior, might have been a senior, but obvious. And I don't know his age. I mean, we were in high school. She was a couple years behind me, so.
That's weird, dude. Because
Ours was not good looking.
Ours was really good. He was the kind of guy who'd be like, "Oh, I totally see it." Like the girl he picked, everybody was like, "Man, she's lucky."
Ugh.
She's lucky. I mean, this was, late 80s, mid 80s. But yeah, and they stayed together. Like he said, he waited till she was 18, but I don't know if that was true. And they ended up getting married. And it was such an open secret. This is a Catholic school. Like I couldn't believe how many blind eyes were being turned at that time.
how long do you wait? I was on the phone when you said that one of your teachers married one of the students like after she graduated, but how long after she graduated did they get married?
Like, did she do the whole college thing, or was she just...
Oh,
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying,
I don't know about that because
if
a
it was
week
like a couple
later.
years after high
Yeah.
school, that's super sus. But if it's like, she graduated college and she's back in town and starting her life, that's
I don't know
very
about that. I seem to recall that they just started cranking out kids.
That was the
But again, if
situation.
she's 18, there's nothing wrong with it.
But
She's
it's still-
18.
There-
She's a
there was
legal
a-
adult.
But like changing 18, you don't look from 17 to 18. You don't look more mature. That's not like a body maturity.
I'm
That's
sure
just
that was
legal
part of the
maturity.
hook. But the fact remains that as far as the law is concerned and your culpability with it, she's 18.
But by law, 18th birthday, I'm getting it in.
But that's what people worry about.
I know.
That's all they worry about. If you got eyes for high school girls and you can hold on to it for a year or so,
I'm just gonna
you just wait till they're 18. You know, you're not making googly eyes at sophomores and then going, you know what? I'm gonna wait till she's 25.
She walks.
Let's let her get through college first.
She walks across the stage, grabs her diploma. And he's like, "All right, Vic." Like grabs her, picks her up, and runs her out of the hall. Like, "All right, it's official."
I mean, it's like guys in college who still date like girls in high school because they can't get girls their own age.
There was a
Last thing you want is her going off to college and figuring out what's going on with the rest of the world.
There was a teacher that married a student, but I think there was like a full 10 years before they actually
And that's
started
okay because
dating.
it's like literally, especially if you're in a small town, you can't help what profession you had, and there's slim
Yeah,
pickings.
I think
but-
she went back to teach at the school, and they just started it like after
Yeah,
she
that
was
just sounds
graduating.
coincidental.
I'm talking about literally you graduate and the teacher is interested in you after you graduate, like right after, and you're interested in the teacher. That chemistry was there beforehand. Like y'all were just trying to suppress the sexual tension between y'all if you didn't act on it.
But I do remember my girlfriend in high school had a crush on that teacher that married that girl. She was into him.
And she probably wasn't the only one.
No.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But these I mean, listen to these 39 here in Kentucky, but these teachers that are like early 20s, you know, they're 1 or 2 years into their teaching career, and they go, I'll tell you what, the captain of the football team, he's just too tough to resist. You blow up your life.
That's insane. Dude, even being
I don't
here
understand it.
and seeing like NYU, there's a lot of comedy clubs right near NYU. So when I'm hanging out in that part of town, I'm like, these are 22-year-olds, and they look like
they do look
children.
Yeah.
They look so young, and it's so unattractive. Where it's like, I do not understand.
Never say
I mean,
never.
the
Some
power
people are into that.
struggle or whatever, sure, where people are like, they would need to feel power over their partner, but like, just physically, I mean.
But what if you just have a really young face, Mary? I mean, poor Selena Gomez, girl's like 32 years old. She looks like she's 5.
And there's not all the 22, 23-year-olds look 22 or 23. There's some older ones in the bunch, especially like the alphas, like the football.
The alphas.
I'm just saying, I'm actually like the football players, the quarterbacks. Those people are like, or basketball players. They're big. They're big dudes. The runts are the ones that look like children.
Runts.
Hey, Woody,
Alan,
what's up?
get lucky in Kentucky. How's your day, brother?
Good.
You're talking about all this craziness about teachers and children. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. But you know, what was the movie with the blonde actor from Texas? I cannot remember. It's like, you know, what I like about high school girls is I get older and they stay the same
It's
age.
McConaughey in Dazed and Confused.
No, I think that was
That's
from
McConaughey.
Rosemary's Baby.
Was it McConaughey?
What have you done with its
Was McConaughey.
eyes?
Yeah, which is banana, which is bizarre, and I actually remember a Drew Carey episode, like one of the first seasons, that he confessed to losing his virginity to his like band teacher or something. Do you remember?
Listen,
remember
that
episode,
was,
Brandon?
we've talked about it before. That was a full premise of a movie in the 80s. Is the dad hires a hooker for his 15-year-old son, or he hires a woman to teach his son, and she teaches him more than
Teach him how to be a man.
Yeah, teaches him more than chemistry. Private Lessons and My Tutor and all these, you know, there were half a dozen of those movies in the 80s. And
Yeah,
you
what
read
is
the
that?
premise at the time, because I was in high school, I was like, oh, this would be great. But you go back and you go, oh, my God, the kid was 15 in this movie, and she was 31. Yeah, they were selling tickets, boy.
But the way I solved this whole scenario, and I've said it before, because there's been like it's been dozens and dozens. They just can't. I'm not going to be the one that gets caught. This teacher, fresh out of college, you know, arrested sexual development or whatever you call it, you know, loves high school, so she wants to go back to be in high school to become a teacher. I think you should not allow to teach high school a class till you're like 35. And let the old women teach high schoolers, let the young women teach grade schoolers. End of problem.
Mary, you can almost teach high school.
I'm so close.
Well, yeah, but this teacher in Kentucky was 39.
Once you're an old woman at 35, you can teach high school.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Old woman. She's a MILF. Right. Okay, thank you, Woody. I appreciate the call. Hey, Ian.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Hey, I was a couple years ago, well, probably 15 years ago, I was dating this girl.
Couple years ago. He already gave himself away.
I was 22, and we'd been dating for about 6 months. You know, we've been sleeping together and everything, and that's when I found out she'd lied to me, and she was 16.
How old did you think she
A couple more
was?
times, then I dumped her. Like 19.
Oh, she told you she was 19
And then we
years
went
old.
out a couple more times, and then I dumped her.
I just wanted to
All
make
right, we're
sure.
doing this 3 more times, then I'm out of
I
here.
dumped her.
I just want to check the rings one last time. Yeah, it turned out to be
Right?
16. You didn't ask for ID, I guess.
After I found out she was 16, I was pretty quick out the door after after a couple more times, and then we were done. So
Ian goes, a couple of years ago, 15 years ago, I was dating this girl. All right, well, he got out clean, it sounds like. Thank you,
He
Ian.
waited till the statute of limitations was up.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people wilding out there, man. They got too much time on their hands.
Now, what is that, though? Because you say you're tricked or whatever, but everyone, I guess, caught up in that predicament would say that they're tricked. So what do you do?
I don't know. I know things are different now because social media and people can lie about what they look like and what they, But I never ran into anybody who was like, oh, I'm 25 and it turns out I'm 12. And, I don't know. I think if you find yourself in that situation, some part of you has willingly overlooked some signs. Is there a giant emotional change between 16 and 19? Listen, 19 is young. So if he goes, she told me she was 19, turned out she was 16. And what did he say? I hung out with her for a little bit longer.
No, he said he banged it out a couple more times.
We
right.
made out. I thought he said we made out.
No, he
couple
said he
more
banged
times.
it out a
We're
couple
clapping
more
it
times.
out of you. Yeah, right.
He said, I'm already in trouble. Okay, might as well do it a couple more times.
Got himself a severance pop.
You can't undo it.
Mm.
Might as well enjoy it. That's crazy.
That's wild.
I told you about how I felt weird about picking up a 19-year-old from CSU, and he had his little lanyard. I said, oh, not the lanyard. Oh, no. I still did it, but oh, no. The lanyard is
But I felt bad about it.
I still did it.
I still did it because it was like, that's rude. I drove all the way over there and picked him up. I'm not just going to, I knew he was 19. He said he was 19, but he looked.
How old were you when that happened?
This was 27. 27, got on Grindr, cute 19-year-old, and I was like, ugh. He's like, I'm on campus. I can't have my car on campus. I said, okay, I'll come get you. And I was like, bro, I don't know if I could do this. I saw him. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. He had his lanyard. I'm like, can you do me a favor? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, can you take that off? He's like, yeah. I put it in his
What's
bag.
the lanyard?
That's his
It's
got a
ID?
student ID
It's
on it.
student
Oh.
ID.
Yeah.
It has his
His meal plans on
his
it?
meal plan on it, probably like a room swipe or whatever. I don't know what the
Key card, yeah.
campus situation is like over at CSU, but I don't ever want to do that again. So I don't know how these people will be messing around with these kids because that was an experience.
And not because he was young, it's because he made you feel old.
No, it was because he 27, whatever. I still felt I was in my 20s.
No, I know, but I'm saying comparatively, wouldn't that make you feel old?
No, he just looked young.
Oh, okay.
That was like the big taboo on campus was even if you're a freshman, you don't have to look like a freshman. Take off your damn lanyard. And like the students will walk around campus with it around their neck so they didn't lose their room key and they didn't lose their meal plan. And I'm just like, oh, so no, you can't do that. So it wasn't about me. It was about him. In my brain, it says freshman, young, immature. And I'm like, this is a weird power dynamic. It felt weird.
Wow. Now you live to tell another tale.
But it was good. So he was a really nice kid.
Really nice.
A teenager. It feels weird to say.
There you go. I tipped him as he went back to his dorm. I'm going to break here. Comedian Sam Talent is going to join us shortly. Funny dude. He's at Hilarious.